Madam Speaker, I rise to give my contribution to the bill before the House, the Virgin Islands Recovery and Development Agency Act 2018. Madam Speaker, I say I rise to give my contributions because the act before the House is not acceptable to me. But with the proposed amendments that we are proposing, if those are acceptable to the House, the act will be acceptable to me. Madam Speaker, I want to start first by saying that we were hit by 2 hurricanes. To me, the flood was a baby. You know, it was in one location. We dealt with it. It cost some money to do it, but Hurricane Irma and Maria, Madam Speaker, unlike anything that hit any place else in the world that deals with hurricane, even those countries that dealt with typhoons, Hurricane Irma and Maria destructive powers was much more than they were. So, Madam Speaker, to classify or to compare BVI destruction with any place else except Dominica and Anguilla, Madam Speaker, is totally unfair and totally unacceptable to me, because we were not just hit by Irma Category 5 hurricane, but a hurricane 200-mile plus power wind. And if we do the scales, they will realize it's probably a 7 or 8, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, this is like anything that we have ever seen. And it is us who are alive and us who have passed through these hurricanes to try to rebuild our country. Madam Speaker, I grew up in an area where working for electricity, where destruction by hurricane was often. So I understand the recovery process. I understand that we need to do it as quickly as we probably can, depending on what we are fixing. But I also understand that while we do these things, we must do them in some measured way. So, Madam Speaker, Hurricane Irma came, did destruction, and all of a sudden all sorts of people came to our aid. And I would like to stop here and say thanks to those individuals, organizations, and companies who have assisted us without looking for anything in return. I think they did a fantastic job, and especially in the field that I'm responsible for, the health services. Madam Speaker, I know PAHO and the British government also assisted in getting some people some materials and roofs and stuff to the Red Cross. But I know PAHO is with us. They have given us quite a bit of money they have given us some millions of dollars to fix some of our infrastructure, and we are very grateful for it. But Madam Speaker, here the other day I had discussions with a whole team from PAHO, and one of the things they said to me is during the UN pledging session where everybody was getting up pledging things to these countries, most of those pledges have not materialized. And it seemed to them, based on discussion with them, that a lot of it will not happen. And you hear the same cry out of Dominica, you hear the same cry out of Anguilla. Madam Speaker, it's easy for people when you're down to come sympathize and empathize with you. But when you ask them to put their money where their mouth is, it's a different story. But we are still looking forward to getting assistance. And Madam Speaker, like I said before, there were quite a number. We had some assistance from quite some good organizations. But Madam Speaker, we are now into what I refer to as disaster recovery capitalism. Madam Speaker, in every disaster around the globe where lots of money show its head, there are people capitalizing. Everybody has a good idea. Everybody has all of these good things that they can do for you to make your life better and great. Madam Speaker, I am one of those people who a lot of talking doesn't really impress me. What impresses me is your actions. Your talk and your action must synchronize in order for me to have any confidence in you. Madam Speaker, you know, the member for the six mentioned, you know, we came from where this country had nothing, Madam Speaker. And Dr. Pickering, the member on my right, on my left, he used to come down every now and then when he get big, but he probably missed some of the things that were happening. But Madam Speaker, we came from when there was nothing, when there was not much. I shouldn't say nothing. When there was not much, but we were happy and we built. And those of us who were here, we built this country over the last 50 years with the help of our leaders that went before us. And we have built this country, and I continue to say in this house, every time the elected officials, representative of the people, get more authority, this country makes sense. This country advances. Madam Speaker, during the late 60s, early 70s, when we went from primary school, from primary education to comprehensive education, Madam Speaker, it was not the British who came and helped us. Those, what we used to call house bands, the stables up there, they were donated by the Canadians to the best of my knowledge. The British themselves never had any interest in our education, in our healthcare, in our infrastructure. We have done it. We have done it by the sweat of our brow, Madam Speaker. With lots of fights. And here we are again, 2018, because we were hit by 2 hurricanes. All of a sudden, they see an opportunity now to take advantage of our vulnerability. Instead of trying to help us, all of these rules are coming on, what we should do and what we can't do and what we... Madam Speaker, we have organizations in this country that the Caribbean islands and around the globe are proud of us. Madam Speaker, our institutions, Social Security, the Health Services Authority, the Electricity Corporation, the National Bank of the Virgin, these are institutions that are tested, that we have built, that ministers in government here are responsible for. And I don't hear anything, you know, all the foolishness that they implying in some of these correspondence, that ministers can't be trusted. Madam Speaker, I am saying here, if they had taken my constitutional rights away from me as a minister to give to anybody else, I have a problem. And all of my colleagues on the front bench know that I have that problem. We did not fight for constitutional advancement to be treated disrespectfully. And don't tell me about building bridges and building this. Madam Speaker, Some bridges are made to be crossed and some bridges are meant to be burned down. Then every bridge that you have, you should keep it, because the enemies might get across. So you got to burn down some of the bridges, Madam Speaker. My colleague like building bridges. You need to burn down some. But Madam Speaker, we have to build this country. We have things that we all are proud of. Yes, we have issues. Like England have issues. The Prime Minister of England, her credibility is almost zero. But Madam Speaker, let me back up a bit. There is a disconnection between the ministers, the ministerial system of the UK and all local government. When you talk to them, they understand the message. But whenever a piece of paper shows up at your doorstep, it's some disrespectful some disrespectful correspondence coming to the leaders of countries. Madam Speaker, we have discussions with the governor all the time, and when he talks, I must give him the credit. When he talks, you know, the relationship sounds like a modern relationship. But whenever you get a correspondence that the Premier gets and he allows us to see it, it's a load of nonsense on a piece of paper, disrespecting us. We were elected by the people, just like how their ministers were elected by their people. These technocrats are elected by no one. We need to stand up and fight for our country. We got to stop letting these people disrespect us. If they don't want to help us, they need to tell us they don't want to help us. But to tell me you're going to give me £300 million, which is about $417 million based on the rates, I mean, not you giving me, but guarantee it, which I have to pay back. And you holding this little foolishness in front of me, but I get 1%. Madam Speaker, I went to a bank some day ago to get some money to bridge a hurricane gap. And the conditions they give me, trying to give me the money under, I tell them I don't need it. I don't need to. If you're going to take away the rights that I have now, because I'm begging you for a little money, I don't need your money. There should be some place, my colleague again, like I said, that's a red line. That's a red line, I call it? That's a red line. Madam Speaker, I have red lines too. I don't know why we're scared to stand up. What are they going to do to us? Take back their constitution? Then we will make another decision. But this is wrong. What they're doing is wrong. Every step of the way. We're ahead considering the Virginia Recovery and Development Act 2017. And we went through it, Madam Speaker, with some proposed amendments. And all of a sudden, a correspondence come, we want this change, we want that change. What kind of democracy is this? If we are the parliament that's supposed to make laws for the good governance of our country, and they're supposed to assent to it, how can they direct you what to put in a law? What kind of foolishness is that? This is wrong and it needs to stop. It needs to stop, Madam Speaker. Giving us 300 million pounds, but you can get it at 1%, and they're going in, and the elected officials of this country, the Minister of Finance, who is responsible for all financial matters in this country under Part 8 of the Constitution, they're taking that power away from the Minister of Finance. And the Financial Secretary, who's supposed to know all the things about the country, how much money is in the country, he doesn't even have a say. He's not here today. Under this act, he doesn't have a say. And Madam Speaker, they're so disrespectful that they tell you the agency will bring something to the House of Assembly. How is the agency going to get something to the House of Assembly if it's not through a minister? So they are, according to my colleagues, they are government unto themselves now. But the local people who the working group understand some of these nuances and they try to work them out. But this is the disrespect that the people who are writing correspondence to us, not reading our Constitution, and showing the ignorance in what they're doing. And don't mind how you talk about it. Everybody says, oh no, it's diplomacy. They have 2,000 years of plus diplomacy. I ain't got much. So I can't fight them on that level. I can't to some of my friends, I got to pull them down to my level and fight them at my level because they can't beat me at my level. If I go try to beat them at their level, they're going to beat me anyway. They got 2,000 years of it. But Madam Speaker, some of the stuff does not make any sense. And we need to let them know. Talking nicely to these people is not working. A bunch of technocrats going before a minister. You know how when the ministers work, the PS brings something to you and you probably sign it, but we are much better than them because we do read them. But they look at the ministers and they're not reading these stuff. Man, that's because some of the things that are happening because of our vulnerability and where we are, how we are being destroyed, they're taking advantage of us. All of a sudden, Madam Speaker, in one of the things is where wealthy people were able to, who have been very interested, were able to donate. Madam Speaker, that's a load of nonsense. They give you a cent. Madam Speaker, I have a plate sitting down there from down the hospital. You tell me what you want to do with your money, it goes there. I collect from 2015. I collect $2.6 million, most of the Social Security money. And little people giving their little stuff, all the local people. And all the wealthy people you say around here. They don't care about our health, they don't care about our education, they don't care about our welfare. Madam Speaker, we cannot make a law in this House where we dilute the rights of the country's responsibility because we need some money. We are not so tired like Esau, who sold his birthright for a bowl of soup. We cannot do it. We need to stand up and fight. If you want to give us, if we plan 5 years, let's take 7 years. My premier says that we look like a bomb out. A bomb out. How you say, boss? a bombed out third world country. Madam Speaker, but we were hit by a bomb. So we should look like one. We were hit by 2 of them. So if it's not like nothing hit us. We were hit by 2. So we got to look like a bombed out third world country. But we get in there, we clean up the place. Some people are putting their rules back on. We're doing the things we need to do. And Madam Speaker, the things that we need to do as a people, if we wanted to help, we pledged $15 million to help the people. Put their rules back on, dependent, retirees, indigent, give people some loans. But up to now, we can't get the funds, no place to help the people. And we have the funds. Just imagine the funds that we don't have. How will we get it? Madam Speaker, the bill before this House, with the amendments in the informal committees that we sat and went over, I can live with. I cannot live, Madam Speaker, with taking our responsibilities as ministers and say I'm going to give it to the governor because he is considered Jesus and I consider the devil. I can't do it. Don't ask me to do it. Do not ask me to do it. My authority that you give me under the Constitution, please don't ask me to do that. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. Right now, the Social Security is $650 million. And the last time I checked, I am responsible for it. My ministerial responsibility. I worked at a corporation where we did project $20 million and $19 million project, and we never had a problem. All of a sudden, a disaster, recovery capitalism, and everybody think, all I say, you're setting up system that other people, and we can't even, Madam Speaker, we don't have the right to appoint anyone on the board based on this, or it's going to be seen as political interference. I asked the governor, how was he appointed? You think if some politician didn't want him to be there, he could have been there? They're fooling us. They come like we're a bunch of idiots. Madam, in 1972, when I graduated from school, there weren't many people with a college degree in this country. Now, under every bed, along every corner, on every table, there is somebody with a PhD, a master's degree. And we are saying that we're competent to do none of this stuff. How did we get so corrupt? How did we get so that we can't be respected anymore? How did it happen? When and when? And I tell the Premier on several occasions, Mr. Premier, if Ronnie Skelton is causing this country this kind of disruption, that you can't trust Ronnie Skelton, tell me so I can resign and go home, so the country can survive. It can't be about me. It cannot. This is setting up the system to roll the clock backward, and we cannot allow it to happen just because we're damaged. We cannot allow it to happen. So I am praying and I am hoping in the committee stage that we don't come to an impasse, because the rights that we fought for in 2006 and 7 under the Constitution, there was 3 of us here in the front bench who were there, along with the member for the 3rd. And today we plan to give it back to them, or even try to water it down to make it look like we are negotiating. What are we negotiating? How can I negotiate my rights with you? It can't happen that way, Madam Speaker. We fought too long, too hard for these stuff. In 1967, we had a constitution, the first constitution. 1977, we had an advanced one. 2007, we got the most advanced one they said we could have. And now, because some technocrats and some bureaucrats in London feel that they can't interfere. And Madam Speaker, we had a governor here. I understand that he is up there causing all of this problem. I understand that from reliable sources. Don't ask me for the piece of paper because I don't have it. Madam Speaker, because he couldn't get his way here, he got up there now to get his way, to say he's imposing all of these things. All of a sudden, all of these things we are doing is wrong. And we have institutions here in this country that are beacons to some of the world. I have people from NHI down in St. Kitts. They went to St. Kitts some weeks ago. because Sink is setting up the NHI system. But we got nothing good here. We got nobody good here anymore. Come on, we got to defend our people. We got to defend our country. We got to. Madam Speaker, you know, according to the Chief Minister of Anguilla, we're British citizens, Madam Speaker. We all, if they send a plane after the hurricane, we all could have gotten on the plane. We all had British passports. But they ain't sent for us. They ain't sent to save us. They came to save us. How much of us were dead? I understand they had a lot of body bags. You like come now? But Madam Speaker, we are here. And it's our country. Yes, we are damaged. You can't now set up system and the duly elected representative of the people, the parliament of this country, and even the executive branch of the country got zero powers, zero authority. Madam Speaker, the 2007 Constitution says the 5 ministers are the voting members of the cabinet. But here it is, in order to get the governor involved, you got to take everything to the cabinet. So the minister for Natural Resources and Labor, he ain't gonna say, you know, he make a big plan in the Senate and them do what they want. And they're trying to adjust it now to realize that was foolishness, so they're trying to adjust it now. Madam Speaker, we cannot go down this road. We cannot. The governor has 3 appointees in here. He appoint the director, he appoint the deputy director, he nominate a member, and then the UK nominate a member. Who the UK? That's 4? 4 Premier got 1. Leader opposition you got 1 too. This is foolishness. This doesn't make no sense. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, $300 million, 300 million pounds a man, $417 million or 400, whatever it is. Madam Speaker, you can't spend it over, you can't even get it spent over 5 years unless you waste it. So it takes a while to spend it. So probably you got $65 million now. But based on what the loan says, you got about 24 million in soft costs in it. So you basically have a small 37 or something $million to spend. And again, Madam Speaker, $37 million spent value for money can take us a distance. We need to concentrate on some of these things. Madam Speaker, we are the ones who have to pay this money back. We have to make sure the tourism, the financial services, and all the other small industries that we intend to put in place, that they also become revenue generators. Madam Speaker, the funny thing about this is, here it is, Britain wants to give us money and take it in and put it on the side and put who they want to do it, right? I must tell you, on the surface, if they had turned to us and said they want to fix our schools, our high school, okay, this is what we want you to do, and they're going to spend $2-3 million or $10, $15 million there, and they can go and fix it, and when they finish, give us the key. I feel better than giving away our constitutional authority. Madam Speaker, on every place we go, our interest is never aligned or never represented properly by Britain. In tourism, we are there fighting for our share. And we're fighting. Financial services is even worse because there's every 6 months there is a group in Parliament who wants to shut us down by opening a registry that is not international in nature. No other country has an open registry, but BVI must have one. So they want to destroy us. So our interests, they're not representing our interests in tourism. In health, you go to the World Health Expo, they don't study, they're really not interested in your health. We are the ones who have to be responsible for our health, or education, or tourism, or financial services, or everything. And we have been doing it. Well, let's speak of, we have institutions like the FSC, the financial services thing, that with BVI landers that are up there doing marvelous things, representing the country up there, fighting and getting business, protecting the country. And all of a sudden, probably they want to get rid of the Parliament is the problem then. We are the problem. But Madam Speaker, they don't have, you know, the young present governor, he's doing a good job. He's going around and shaking hands and talking to people. And I think we are a little on next election for some office so he can stay here and seem to like people. But that's what he is doing. You know, like trying to win the heart and minds of the people and make it think that Britain is doing so much for you. Britain ain't doing nothing for you. Britain has a budget of, eighth budget of, I forget how much billions of dollars. And they around the globe tell them, give this one 500 million, they give that one another 100 million, and we can't get a cent to help just build our infrastructure. Come and build a road for us then. No man, this is craziness. This doesn't make sense. And tell me I must come up here and make a law. I'll do like the thing, take a knife and cut my own throat. How can I do that? I can't go to heaven. I must take a knife and cut my own throat, and if I don't cut my own throat, I ain't doing what I'm saying. Let's cut this nonsense over. Let's don't do this. So Madam Speaker, I want to make sure Madam Speaker, you know, my colleague said there are no free lunches, and that is correct. If we think the 300 million pounds pledge is a free lunch, you know, we're fooling ourselves, you know. We need the money. Everybody talks, the Social Security scheme is designed in such a way that it would always be solvent, because the percentage that they use for anything is normally small amounts. Like only 20% of it can be used here, only 10% can be invested in this and that. So the system based on actual study is solid. And if we need to fix our roads first, because if we need to fix our road first, then we should go and fix the road. You know, but we need to live within our means, Madam Speaker. We need to stop dreaming about roads are gold in the sky, and just live within our means. We could make it. We could fix our country back. We don't. Yes, we need. If it's only $100 million, they're gonna give us every 2 years. Let's take it and do what we could do with it. Do the maximum with it. But don't give away our rights under the Constitution. You can come back to haunt future generation. I may not be here. Dr. Pickens might be here. But let us don't give away our rights under the Constitution, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if the amendments that are being proposed are accepted, I don't have a problem. It becomes just like any other one of our statutory corporations that we have had 20, 35 years of experience with, and they work. The AG helped me to put some of them in place, and they work. Creating this thing out there that I don't have a say who the CEO is, who the financial controller is. This is because I am going to be, it's political interference. Anyway, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think my 20 minutes is up. I thank you for the time, please.